Hello everybody, I'm Vicky Chang. The folk tale that I'm going to tell today is an old Chinese folk tale about how Mr. Mouse found himself the best person to marry his daughter. Once upon a time, there were Mr. and Mrs. Mouse. They had been hiding for their whole lives because they felt they were very tiny and incompetent. Now it is about time for their daughter to get married, and they want to find their daughter the greatest person in the world so she does not have to hide anymore. So one morning, Mr. Mouse stepped out of his house and saw the sun in the sky and thought to himself, wow, everything depends on the sun to live. The sun must be the greatest person in the world. So he went to talk to Mr. Sun, and he said, Mr. Sun, you are the greatest person in the world. Would you please marry my daughter? And Mr. Sun was very surprised, and he said, you are right, Mr. Mouse. Everything depends on me to live. But when the cloud is out, I am totally blocked. Mr. Mouse thought to himself for a moment and agreed. So he went to look for Mr. Cloud. And he said, Mr. Cloud, you are the greatest person in the world. Would you please marry my daughter? And Mr. Cloud was very surprised, and he said, Mr. Mouse, I am not the greatest person in the world. The wind is. When the wind is out, it blows me away. And Mr. Mouse thought to himself for a moment and agreed, and he went to look for Mr. Wind. And he said to Mr. Wind, Mr. Wind, you are the greatest person in the world. Would you please marry my daughter? And Mr. Wind said, you must made a mistake, Mr. Mouse. I am not the greatest person in the world. You are right, I can blow all the clouds away, but when there's a wall, I am stopped. Mr. Mouse thought to himself for a moment and agreed, and he went to look for Mr. Wall. When he found Mr. Wall, he said, Mr. Wall, you are the greatest person in the world. Would you please marry my daughter? And Mr. Wind was very surprised, and he said to Mr. Mouse, Mr. Mouse, you made a mistake. I am not the greatest person in the world. You are right, I can block all the wind, but look at me. And he was pointing to the bottom part of him, and he said, the greatest person in the world is the mouse. The mouse made all these holes on the bottom. The mouse is the greatest person. And the mouse thought to himself for a moment, and he was very happy. He never knew that he actually could do something that can break something else. So he thought, you're right. I am the greatest person in the world. I will just marry my daughter to the handsome mouse next door. So this story tells us that we need to have confidence and we need to always think about the things that we can do. Thank you.